In the frigid and harsh lands of North America, where every movement can determine survival, wolves don't attack with lone strength, but with the precise coordination of the pack. They observe, adjust, and apply pressure over time, gradually disrupting their prey before they realize they've been subdued. In such confrontations, the most dangerous moment isn't the chase, but when the surrounding space begins to close. In the Alaskan and Canadian tundras, caribou live in conditions that can drop below -40 degrees Fahrenheit, where the harsh environment reduces competition. On open tundras, they spot wolves from afar and move constantly to avoid confrontation. While maintaining formation, the ability to escape is preserved. But when gaps appear, the risk of separation begins to build. In the vast snowy landscape, an alpha wolf observes a caribou pack foraging and silently approaches, using the favorable wind direction. It doesn't charge immediately, maintaining a distance and constantly shifting positions to create pressure. When the caribou pack begins to move erratically, a slow-moving individual is separated, and the wolf immediately locks onto its target, accelerating the pursuit, rapidly closing the gap. The chase continues across the hard snow, the caribou constantly changing direction to capitalize on its speed. But its pace gradually slows down over time. The wolf maintains a steady distance, steadily controlling the direction of movement and limiting the pack's ability to rejoin. After a tense chase, the wolf gains complete control of the situation, and the outcome is clear. In the icy tundra environment, the caribou's advantage lies in its vision and pack movement. But when separated and subjected to constant pressure, that advantage quickly diminishes. Under these conditions, the ability to control space and maintain a steady pursuit pace often determines the final outcome. On the Great Plains grasslands and at Yellowstone, bison live in open spaces where their good visibility helps them detect danger early. In winter, they use their strong heads and shoulders to break through the snow to find grass, maintaining their strength when food is scarce. When the pack is tightly packed, they maintain a stable defense, but any gap that appears puts them at risk of isolation. In the snow-covered forest, a pack of wolves observes from a distance and approaches downwind. Instead of charging head-on, they circle, creating pressure that forces the bison to constantly shift positions. As the encirclement tightens, a slow-reacting individual is separated, and the pack immediately focuses its attention, accelerating the pursuit and rapidly closing the gap. The chase unfolds on compacted snow. The bison tries to maintain its direction toward the pack, but its pace slows. The wolves take turns pursuing, steering the bison's escape route and limiting its ability to rejoin the group. After a period of struggle, the pack gains control, and the situation clearly favors the predator. In the context of grasslands and snowy forests, strength and pack structure are the bison's primary advantages. But when isolated and under prolonged pressure, those advantages quickly diminish. In this situation, the wolves' flexible coordination and ability to maintain pressure are often the key factors determining the outcome. Along the slopes of the Rocky Mountains and the North American coniferous forests, Elk live in steep terrain, where their agility allows them to effectively avoid danger. In winter, they descend into valleys to find grass and reduce the impact of heavy snow. While they can utilize the terrain, the herd maintains a safe distance. But if pulled out of this advantage, the risk of being separated from the herd begins to build. On the vast expanse of snow, a pack of wolves stalks the elk from behind, maintaining distance and adjusting their pace to match the prey. They exploit the terrain to force the elk away from its safe zone, gradually destabilizing the formation. When a young elk falls behind, the pack quickly shifts, accelerating to close the gap, significantly reducing the distance between them. The chase continues, and the elk gradually loses its ability to maintain a stable direction on the slippery surface. The wolves don't immediately exert their full force, but continuously pressure the prey, wearing it down over time. After a tense standoff, the pack gains the upper hand, thus favoring the one that maintains control. In the snowy mountain environment, the elk has the advantage of terrain and the ability to change direction flexibly. But when forced out of its familiar territory and subjected to constant pressure, its defensive effectiveness rapidly diminishes. In this situation, the wolf's ability to control the pace and exploit inaccuracies gradually allows it to gain control of the situation. In Arctic regions like Greenland and Canada, Arctic hares live in vast snow-covered terrain where temperatures can drop below -30 degrees Fahrenheit. Thanks to their unobstructed vision and ability to dig burrows in the snow for shelter, they can detect danger early and maintain a safe distance. While they can control their distance and direction, this advantage is maintained. But if detected in open space, the risk of being pursued quickly becomes apparent. In the middle of a snow-covered field, an Arctic wolf spotted a rabbit foraging and stealthily approached, following the wind. As the rabbit fled, the wolf didn't pursue directly, but instead constantly changed direction, cutting corners and adjusting its course to close the gap, gradually diminishing its speed advantage. The chase dragged on as the rabbit repeatedly changed direction. But its movement became erratic, giving the predator an opportunity to close in. As its stamina waned, the rabbit could no longer maintain a safe distance. The wolf seized the opportune moment to gain complete control of the situation, and the outcome tilted in favor of the predator that maintained a steady pursuit. In a freezing environment, speed is only effective when maintaining distance. But when cornered and constantly pursued, the situation quickly shifts to the wolf's disadvantage. In Alaska, Western Canada, and the Western United States mountain ranges, grizzly bears live in environments ranging from dense forests to frigid tundras, where seasonal food sources dictate their migratory behavior. During salmon season, they congregate along rivers to accumulate fat and observe by standing on two legs when they sense danger. As long as they maintain distance and escape routes, bears maintain the advantage, but if subjected to constant pressure, a defensive posture emerges. On a snow-covered meadow, a pack of wolves spotted a resting bear and gradually approached downwind to avoid detection. Instead of charging head-on, they circled, constantly changing positions to create pressure, forcing the bear to shift its gaze. As the encirclement tightened, a few wolves accelerated, closing in before withdrawing, thus maintaining pressure and making it difficult for their opponent to maintain a steady pace. The confrontation dragged on as the bear repeatedly stood up to observe and change direction to avoid isolation. But the constant reaction disrupted its movement. The wolves maintained a safe distance, coordinating to navigate an escape route, thereby controlling the situation and forcing the bear to retreat from the area, thus tilting the tide in favor of the pack that maintained consistent pressure. In an open environment, the individual strength of a grizzly bear is a clear advantage. However, under pack pressure and the pacing of the pack, that advantage is difficult to fully exploit. Therefore, the wolves' ability to coordinate and maintain distance gradually took control of the situation. In Greenland, Canada, and Alaska, musk oxen live on icy tundras with very low temperatures and limited food sources. These conditions significantly reduce predators and competition. When threatened, they quickly form a defensive ring with their horns pointing outwards, maintaining distance. But if the formation is disrupted, the risk of separation begins to build. On a vast snowfield, a pack of wolves spotted a muskox and circled around to observe. They didn't attack directly, but instead approached and retreated rhythmically, forcing the pack to shift formation. As pressure increased, a moment of instability arose, revealing a gap in the defensive structure. Immediately afterward, the pack accelerated, focusing on the separated individual and maintaining pressure by pursuing in small groups. The muskox attempted to rejoin the pack but was blocked. Thus, the safe distance was lost, and after a short but fierce chase, the wolves gained control, shifting the tide in favor of the pack that maintained continuous pressure. In the harsh tundra environment, collective defense tactics helped musk ox withstand numerous threats. However, once the structure was broken, the effectiveness of protection diminished rapidly. Therefore, the wolves' persistence and ability to exploit vulnerabilities gradually shaped the outcome. Along the edge of forests and woodlands, wild boars adapt widely, from grasslands to low hills, helping them maintain their agility. When threatened, they not only retreat, but also turn around and fight back with their sharp tusks, maintaining a safe distance. However, if surrounded from multiple sides, pressure quickly increases, and the risk of being forced to move gradually builds. At the edge of the forest, a pack of wolves spotted a lone wild boar and silently circled around it to observe. They didn't attack immediately, but constantly shifted positions, creating pressure that forced the prey to turn defensively. As the encirclement gradually closed, the boar's movements became disrupted. When cornered, the boar was forced to move to find an escape route, while the wolves simultaneously accelerated and pursued from multiple directions. Despite repeatedly turning back to resist, the prey was forced to lose distance. Thus, after a tense chase, the wolves gained control, and the outcome favored the one who maintained continuous pressure. Through each confrontation, the common thread lies not in individual strength, but in the pack's ability to coordinate, control distance, and maintain pressure. In a harsh environment, the one who adapts better is not the strongest, but the one who keeps pace and doesn't lose the initiative. And it is in this perseverance that the situation is quietly shaped, but ultimately determines the final outcome. In the snowy plains and frozen forests of the north, hunts often begin silently, only to quickly escalate into ferocious attacks. Predators use the terrain, the weather, and patience to their advantage, stalking their prey. In this hostile environment, every encounter is a test of survival, where a single moment of carelessness can completely alter the outcome. In the cold forests and vast mountains of North America, the elk herd moves slowly through the snow to find less wind. Elks are highly sensitive and can detect danger from afar thanks to their well-developed sense of smell and hearing. Their large bodies and strong legs help them maintain a steady pace, but the deep snow begins to slow the rear of the group. Wolf silently follows from a safe distance, constantly observing the elk herd's movement through the snow tracks. Wolf doesn't go straight into the middle of the herd, but constantly changes angles to find individuals starting to lose their rhythm on the heavy snow. As the distance narrows in the cold forest, an elk at the back also begins to drift away from the front. The elk tries to regain its balance to rejoin the herd, but even a slight delay widens the gap. Wolf approaches from multiple directions and constantly attacks from the flanks to disrupt the elk's movement on the deep snow. The match ended with elk losing their advantage in terms of formation, while Wolf maintained their lead thanks to their excellent teamwork and accurate terrain reading. Along the cold rivers of the northern forests, salmon swim upstream to return to their birthplace and continue their breeding season. Salmon have excellent water memory, helping them find the same river again after a long time living in the ocean. Their good endurance allows them to overcome strong currents. Near shallow water, grizzly bears wait at the river's edge, observing the salmon's movements. They choose a narrow spot where the salmon must leap to overcome the current. While the salmon continuously leap, the grizzly bear suddenly leaps from the water's edge and uses its front paws to pounce directly on the direction the salmon has just leapt. The salmon try to continue swimming with the strong current, but the narrow area leaves it with few escape routes. Grizzly bear held its position in the shallow water and quickly took control of the salmon that had just been intercepted. The confrontation ended with the salmon becoming grizzly bear's prey, while the school of fish behind continued swimming through the cold water. In the cold forests of North America, moose typically move slowly across soft ground and wide swamps. They are highly alert to sounds, smells, and movement around their habitat. Their large bodies and long, strong legs give them a clear advantage. But when accompanied by their young, protective distance becomes even more crucial. Along the damp ground near the clearing, the grizzly bear silently observes and maintains a distance from the mother moose. The grizzly bear constantly changes its approach angle to find a gap between the mother moose and her offspring near the edge of the swamp. As the distance narrows, the grizzly bear lunges forward and forcefully strikes the mother moose's shoulder. The adult moose quickly turns to shield its offspring, but the soft ground slows its pace. The grizzly bear continued to approach from the flank, not giving moose time to create a safe distance. The confrontation ended when moose managed to keep the hatchling close behind, while the grizzly bear gradually retreated from the cold swamp area. In the cold forests of Alaska and Canada, grizzly bears move slowly in search of food amidst harsh weather. Grizzly bears are highly sensitive to any movement near their food source and react quickly to the appearance of other animals. Their strong jaws, large muscles, and thick fur give them an advantage in the cold. But on the edge of the snow-covered forest, a wolf has begun to appear near a carcass. From the edge of the snow-covered forest, the wolf silently approaches the carcass, constantly observing the grizzly bear's reaction. The wolf doesn't approach directly, but moves in a wide circle, closing in, and then quickly retreating to find an opportunity to claim the food. As the distance narrows around the carcass, the grizzly bear also continuously turns to maintain its position of control. The grizzly bear held onto its prey with its body strength, refusing to leave the area where it stood amidst the cold snow. The wolf continued to charge from multiple directions, widening the distance and forcing the grizzly bear to constantly change direction. The confrontation ended when the wolf pulled away from the dangerous distance, while the grizzly bear continued to hold on to its prey thanks to its stable defense. In the long, cold, snowy landscape, the caribou herd moves slowly and maintains close formation. Caribou have a strong survival instinct and can sense danger from afar through scent, sound, and movement. Their strong legs allow them to maintain a long run, but the deep snow begins to disrupt the formation behind them. Wolf silently observes from a safe distance, constantly studying the caribou herd's movements. Wolf doesn't rush to approach, but observes the footprints, the rhythm of movement, and individuals that begin to slow down on the rough snow. As the distance narrows, the caribou herd also begins to lose its advantage in maintaining formation. One caribou is separated from the herd and tries to speed up to rejoin the group, but the deep snow slows its pace. wolf pursues from multiple directions, continuously closing the gap and forcing the caribou to change direction in the vast snowy area. The confrontation ended when the caribou lost its advantage from the herd, while the wolf regained control of the direction of movement thanks to its sustained coordination. In the cold, high mountains, mountain goats often move in small herds across steep cliffs and snow-covered slopes. Mountain goats are always vigilant for unusual movement around their foraging areas, while the adults constantly observe to protect the group. Their ability to cling to rocks and maintain balance allows mountain goats to control the terrain very well. From atop the rocky slope, the snow leopard silently follows, using the rugged terrain to conceal itself. The snow leopard quietly closes the gap as the mountain goat moves near the edge of a narrow rock. As the escape route ahead narrows, the snow leopard suddenly swoops down, forcing the mountain goat to sharply change direction on the slippery slope. The mountain goat tries to swerve to maintain distance, but the space ahead is dwindling. Snow leopard continued to relentlessly pursue the mountain slope, forcing mountain goat to constantly change direction in the dangerous area. As the cliff chase drew to a close, the advantage ultimately belonged to snow leopard. On the edge of North American forests, deer often stops near open grass to search for food and observe its surroundings. Deers are highly alert and will react immediately to any unusual sounds or smells in the forest. Their strong legs help them maintain a steady pace. But once they leave the cover of trees, the escape route ahead begins to narrow. Behind fallen trees near the damp forest, grizzly bear moves slowly, keeping its body hidden in the shadows. Grizzly bear doesn't chase for long, but waits for deer to enter a sloping area where the slippery ground makes changing direction more difficult. When the distance is close enough in the narrow forest path, grizzly bear immediately lunges forward and crashes into deer's body. Deer tries to speed up to escape the sloping forest area, but the damp terrain causes its running rhythm to become unstable. Grizzly bear continued to close in from behind, not giving deer time to regain a safe distance. The confrontation ended with grizzly bear maintaining the advantage thanks to precise timing, while deer was unable to escape the narrow jungle area. In dense, narrow jungle terrain, wild boars constantly change direction to maintain distance from danger ahead. Wild boars react quickly when approached and always turn their heads directly to use their fangs to control the area near their bodies. These short but powerful turns give wild boars an advantage at close range. While wild boars maintain their movement, the pack of wolves begins to form a formation and approach from multiple directions. One wolf moves forward to draw attention, while others continuously approach from the flanks and rear. As wild boars are forced to constantly change direction, the pack of wolves continues to attack quickly and then retreat, gradually narrowing the space ahead. After many turns in narrow terrain, wild boars begin to slow down and can no longer maintain their initial reaction speed. The wolf pack continued to close the gap and maintained formation around the wild boar's movement area. As the wild boar's movement speed slowed significantly, the confrontation quickly ended with the wolf pack ultimately holding the advantage. After chases and attacks amidst the freezing snow and ice, each species reveals survival strategies honed over generations. Whether predator or prey, advantage is fleeting before the tide turns against them, fueled by terrain, stamina, and reflexes. In the harsh northern wilderness, the struggle for survival continues daily.